Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are diving into one of the biggest forces in modern anime, Jujutsu Kaisen. It's insane how much the anime scene has evolved. These days, it feels like every new series drops with its own army behind it. One week the internet is screaming about Chainsaw Man, and the next it's Blue Lock. And somehow Fragen is making everyone emotional at 2 a.m. Anime isn't just entertainment anymore, it's a full-on cultural battleground. Memes, edits, power-scaling arguments, fan theories, the community has never been this loud, this active, or this unstoppable. And right in the middle of this massive anime storm stands Jujutsu Kaisen. Not waving, not waiting, just planting its flag at the top with pure hype and insane energy. Created by mysterious cat-like genius Gege Akutami, this series brought something fresh: brutal fights, clever power systems, insane animation, and characters people fell in love with instantly. This show doesn't just entertain you, it pulls you straight into its world and refuses to let go. It's stylish, emotional, chaotic, and honestly one of the most dangerously addictive anime experience you can jump into. And the coolest thing, anyone can vibe with it. Doesn't matter if you are a hardcore weeb or someone who just opened Crunchyroll for the first time, JJK hits every type of viewer. And today we are breaking it all down: the story, the madness, the characters, everything from start to wherever it ends. But before we jump into cursed fingers and trauma, let's meet the legends running this show. First up, Yuji Tadori, the heart of the story. Strong, fast, always ready to jump in, and the kind of guy who will risk everything if it means saving someone. He's simple, honest, and tougher than he looks. Exactly the kind of protagonist you want reading a world this chaotic. Then we have got Megumi Fushiguro, calm, sharp, and way more powerful than he lets on. He's the quiet kid who keeps his head down, handles things his own way, and still ends up stealing the spotlight every time he fights. Next is Nobara Kugisaki, confident, stylish, and absolutely fearless. She's the kind of character who walks into a battlefield like it's fashion runway and still smashes curses like it's nothing. Pure attitude, pure dominance. And of course, Satoru Gojo, the strongest sorcerer alive, cool, chaotic, unpredictable, and a one-man army. He's not just their teacher, he's the reason this entire generation of sorcerers even has hope. One of the most iconic anime characters ever, and for good reason. There are a lot more amazing characters in this series, each with their own moment to shine, and we will meet them as the story unfolds. So buckle up, because this is Jujutsu Kaisen and things are about to get seriously intense. So the very first episode starts with Yuji Itadori tied to a chair while Gojo casually tells him, "Congrats, you are getting executed." Yuji, obviously confused, has no idea how his day went from normal to death sentence speedrun. So we jump back a day. Megumi Fushiguro is hunting a cursed object at Yuji's school but finds nothing except Yuji, who's basically radiating cursed energy like a walking Wi-Fi router. Turns out Yuji's occult club buddies stole the actual object and are planning to open it for fun. Meanwhile, Yuji is busy visiting his dying grandfather, who drops his final wisdom: "Save people, don't die alone like me," and then he dies. Megumi tracks Yuji down at the hospital, explains he cursed the object situation, and Yuji casually reveals that the finger is actually with his friends, who are probably unsealing it right now. They rush to the school, but yeah, they are late. Curses everywhere. His friends are basically one scream away from becoming snacks. Megumi summons his shadow dogs. Yuji uses his natural main character strength, and together they start cleaning up the mess. But then a bigger curse shows up and eats Megumi through a wall. Yuji remembers Grandpa's last words and thinks, "Well, guess I gotta jump in and die heroically." Problem: he can't hurt curses without cursed energy. Solution: eat the creepy finger that Megumi told him not to touch, and Yuji, because he's Yuji, just swallows it like a potato chip. Instantly, boom, Ryomen Sukuna, the king of curses, wakes up inside him. Bad news: Sukuna wants to kill everyone. Good news: Yuji somehow suppresses him like he's pressing a mute button. Even Sukuna is confused. Megumi prepares to exorcise him, and that's where the madness really begins. The second episode starts with Megumi preparing to exorcise Yuji, but Yuji calmly raises his hands and tells him he's still in control, just first feeling a little off. Before Megumi can decide what to do, Gojo arrives at the scene casually asking what happened. Yuji explains that he swallowed the cursed finger. Gojo checks for himself and immediately realizes that Yuji has become Sukuna's vessel. To test Yuji's control, Gojo asks him to switch with Sukuna for 10 seconds. Yuji agrees, and in those 10 seconds, Gojo effortlessly handles Sukuna, proving exactly why he's considered the strongest. Once Yuji regains control, Gojo knocks him out and later tells Megumi that Yuji is supposed to be executed according to Jujutsu law. Megumi asks Gojo to save him and Gojo manages to delay the execution, though not stop it completely. Yuji wakes up tied to a chair and Gojo explains everything. Sukuna was the legendary king of curses, had 4 arms and 20 fingers and turned those fingers into cursed objects to survive through time. Since they can destroy the fingers, Yuji has 2 choices: die now or eat all the fingers first and then die. Yuji chooses the second option. Gojo even gives him another finger to confirm he can handle it, and Yuji survives again.
Ugh, so gross. I mean, so gross it's funny.
After this, Gojo takes him to Principal Yaga for his entrance interview. Yuji first says he wants to help people because of his grandfather's last words, but Yaga's cursed dog attacks him for giving a shallow answer. During the fight, Yuji finally admits the real truth. Only he can contain Sukuna and he doesn't want to live with regret if someone dies because he ran away from this responsibility. His honest answer convinces Yaga and Yuji is accepted. Gojo then shows Yuji his dorm. Megumi walks in, surprised that Yuji will be staying next door, and Gojo announces that tomorrow they will go pick up the 3rd first-year student, Nobara Kugisaki, and with that, the team is almost formed. The next episode starts with Yuji, Megumi, and Gojo heading to Harajuku to pick up their final first year, Nobara Kugisaki. On the way, Yuji wonders why their batch has only 3 students, and Megumi gives the simple answer: sorcerers are rare. Nobara shows up exactly how she is, confident, loud, and already scaring random people in Tokyo. After a quick intro, Gojo promises them a tour but instead brings them to an abandoned building in Roppongi. Classic Gojo. The real plan: test Yuji and Nobara. He hands Yuji a cursed tool since the guy still can't control his own cursed energy and sends both of them inside. Megumi tries to join but Gojo stops him. Inside, Yuji starts slicing curses instantly like he's been doing it for years, leaving Gojo outside wondering if this kid is emotionally okay. Nobara meanwhile handles a possessed mannequin with her hammer and nails, showing off her straw doll technique. Things get messy when a curse takes a kid hostage. Nobara tries to sacrifice herself, but Yuji smashes through the wall, saves the kid, and Nobara finishes the curse by using the severed arm for her technique. Efficient teamwork even if they argue every 5 minutes. Afterward, Nobara tells Yuji she became a sorcerer to escape her suffocating village life and finally live in Tokyo. Yuji is confused, but honestly, her reason works for her.
Drop it! I've given you my thanks already. We're even now.
What is wrong with her?
Gojo then rewards them with sushi and then 3 of them argue all the way there, basically confirming that yes, this chaotic trio is officially complete. The next episode starts with Ichichi, basically the assistant who does everything, driving Yuji, Megumi and Nobara to Juvenile Detention Center. Their mission is simple: go in, save whoever's alive and run. No fighting the special grade inside because, as Ichichi explains, special grades are the turn around and leave type of monsters. He even gives Yuji a quick power skill crash course: grade 4 wooden bat, grade 3 handgun, grade 2 shotgun, and grade 1 tank. Special grade don't bother. Yuji nods like he understood any of that. Before they enter, a mother breaks down begging them to save her son, Tadashi. Yuji promises he will bring him back. Ichichi sets up a wheel and the trio goes in. Inside, they immediately realizes they have walked into a curse's innate domain. While searching around, Yuji finds Tadashi already dead. Yuji wants to take him back. Megumi refuses and it sparks a quick argument about who deserves saving until Yuji throws back. Then why did you save me? Before that goes anywhere, Nobara gets dragged underground. Megumi's divine dog is killed and the special grade appears and slices off Yuji's hand like it's nothing. Yuji begs Sukuna to switch. Sukuna refuses, warns he will kill Megumi first if he comes out, and leaves Yuji to deal with it. So Yuji orders Megumi to escape with Nobara while he stalks the curse alone. Once they are out, Yuji finally switches. Sukuna takes over, considers running outside just to mess with Megumi, then stays when he realizes Yuji would switch back instantly. Instead, he tries dragging the special grade along, but when it refuses, he slices it up in seconds. He also finds one of his fingers inside it, eats it, and gets even stronger because of course he does. Then Sukuna tells Yuji to take back control, but Yuji doesn't respond at all. Sukuna realizes he's in full control and smiles. That's when things get dangerous. The next episode picks up with Megumi sending Nobara to the hospital while he waits for Yuji to walk out of the detention center. Except it's not Yuji, it's Sukuna, and he's in a great mood, which is always a terrible sign. He immediately starts messing with Megumi, then casually rips out Yuji's heart so Yuji can't switch back. Sukuna doesn't need a heart, but Yuji kind of does. Insane behavior even for him. Megumi has no choice but to fight. He summons his 10 shadows, Shikigami made from shadow, each with its own insane powers. Sukuna is impressed but also confused. Why did Megumi run from the special grade earlier when he clearly has all this potential? While Sukuna toys with him, Megumi reflects on why he saves people in the first place. Not because of karma or fairness, but simply because he decides to. He saved Yuji because he's a good person. Hearing that, Yuji forces his way back in control and dies instantly, heart missing at all. He gives one last smile, telling his friends to live long lives. News reaches Gojo and he immediately loses it. He figures out the higher-ups deliberately sent Yuji on this mission while he was away, basically hoping he did die. Gojo starts threatening to murder all of them under his breath, and honestly, valid. Meanwhile, Megumi and Nobara quietly grieve until the second-year trio shows up. Maki, light fighter, zero cursed energy. Logi, cursed speech, talks only in rice ball ingredients. And Panda, yes, he's actually a panda. No, don't cushion it. They invite the first years to join the upcoming Kyoto Sister School Exchange, basically a yearly sorcerer battle royale. Somewhere else, Geto and the cursed spirits discuss their big villain plan: create a world ruled by curses. To do that, they need two things: take down Gojo and get Sukuna on their side. They assume Yuji is dead, but Geto isn't so sure. Inside Yuji's soul, Sukuna sits above Yuji's still body, smiling like someone who knows something we don't. And that's where the danger really begins. The episode after Rain opens with Yuji chilling in Sukuna's innate domain, basically Sukuna's creepy brain world. Sukuna has changed his mind and doesn't want Yuji dead yet, so he offers a deal. He gets 1 minute of control whenever he says a keyword, and second, Yuji forgets this deal afterward. He even promises not to kill anyone during that minute, which sounds like a scam with extra steps. Yuji says no, obviously, and demands to be revived with zero conditions. So Sukuna brings up binding vows, the Jujutsu version of unbreakable contracts, meaning he has to keep his word. They fight over it, literally, and Sukuna wins instantly. But Yuji still wakes up in the real world. Gojo greets him with the brightest smile like he just found his lost pet. He tells Shoko to keep Yuji's revival secret until Yuji is strong enough to not die every 2 episodes. Meanwhile, Jogo wants to kill Gojo. Geto calmly explains that killing Gojo is impossible and suggests sealing him instead. Jogo acts insecure, burns down an entire dinner just to prove he's strong, and Geto lets him embarrass himself. Back with Gojo, he starts training Yuji. He explains cursed energy equals electricity and cursed techniques equals appliances. Yuji has no appliance, so he will just learn to punch things really hard with Sukuna's energy.
Ah! So you have to constantly be flipping out in order to use your cursed energy?
His training, watching movies while keeping cursed energy steady, or a cursed doll will beat him up. Elsewhere, Megumi visits Tadashi's mother, apologizes for not saving her son, and gives her the name tag for closure. And that's the episode. Yuji's alive, Gojo planning something big, and villains are plotting chaos, and Yuji is being trained by cinema. In the next episode, Gojo is heading to meet Principal Yaga when he suddenly tells Ichiji to stop. A second later, Jogo drops from the sky like a flaming, bowling ball and tries to crush him. Gojo dodges, Jogo nukes the road and then blasts him with lava, which does nothing because infinity is basically you can't touch me the technique. Jogo tries again, gets confused again, and Gojo casually explains that there's literally infinite space between them. Then Gojo shows off, Blue pulls Jogo in, Red blasts him away, and Jogo finally realizes he should have stayed home. Gojo dips mid-fight, grabs Yuji like he's picking up snacks, and brings him back for a live Jujutsu lesson. Jogo gets furious and activates his domain. Inside, Gojo calmly explains domains while roasting Jogo's power level. Jogo thinks he finally trapped him until Gojo opens his domain. Unlimited void melts Jogo's brain instantly. Gojo decepticates him with Hanami, jumps in, steals the head and vanishes. Yuji apologizes, Gojo shrugs, says he wants his students strong enough to handle monsters like this. Training continues. Yuji still has no idea what the Goodwill event is, and Gato's team quietly plans to seal Gojo on October 31st. Basically, Gojo flexes, Jogo suffers, and Yuji just trying to keep up. Next up is boredom. Megumi and Nobara are out picking up supplies when Kyoto's squad suddenly shows up. Their principal, Gakugenji, is visiting, and then of course he brought his problem children with him, Koi, Todo, and Maizen in. Todo immediately asks Megumi the most important question of his life.
What kind of woman's your type?
Megumi tries answers politely. He wants someone with a strong character. Todo hears this, decides it's the most boring answer ever, and starts beating him like Megumi personally offended his ancestors. Meanwhile, Nobara and Mai start arguing because apparently Mai's hobby is bullying anyone from Tokyo. Nobara fires back, Mai gets irritated, and the chaos level rises until Panda, Maki, and Togi arrive to break things up. Mai drags Nobara into a fight, even shoots her, but Nobara refuses to stay down. Maki steps in. The sisters argue about who's more useless, and Nobara officially joins the Maki fan club. On the other side, Gojo hijacks Gakugenji's meeting. He tells him they were attacked by an unregistered special grade and politely suggests the old man drop his ancient rules. Gakugenji gets annoyed. Gojo leaves, and Maiwa runs after him for a selfie because she's the only normal person there. Todo and Mai leave early since Todo has to meet his idol, Takada-chan. A month later, mutated corpses show up at a movie theater. Mahito walks out, and Yuji is sent with a sorcerer to investigate, kicking off the next arc. The next episode starts with Junpei Yoshino, a kid who gets bullied so much that he's basically done with humanity. One day, he goes to watch a movie, and unlucky for him, his bullies are there too. But before they can go in his day again, Mahito shows up and wipes them out for being loud in the theater. Junpei follows him, realizes this guy is definitely not human, and ends up talking to him instead of running away. Meanwhile, Yuji gets a new mentor because Gojo disappears again, obviously. Enter Kanto Nanami, ex-salaryman, zero jokes, all discipline. Yuji and Nanami are sent to investigate the same theater, and after a quick look, they realizes the victims were not cursed spirits, they were humans turned into monsters. Nanami tracks the curse responsible, while Yuji is told to follow Junpei since he's their only lead. Nanami finds the transfigured humans first and casually one-shots one with his ratio technique. Yuji handles the other using his new move, Divergent Fist, basically a punch with Wi-Fi lag that hits twice. Nanami pretends he's not impressed, but he totally is. On the other side, Mahito takes Junpei to the Seaverse to hang out because that's normal and explains how curses are born from human fear. He also reveals he's the type born from humans hating fighting other humans. So yeah, basically the worst kind. By the next day, Nanami finds Mahito's hideout and sends Yuji to approach Junpei. Yuji and Ichiji follows him with a tiny curse in a box like it's completely normal detective work. And that's the episode. Junpei slips deeper into Mahito's world, Yuji gets stronger, and Nanami is already tired of everyone's nonsense. Next episode opens with another one of Junpei's sad school memories, followed by him and Mahito having a deep opposite of love discussion. In the C-verse, romantic, right? Junpei says the opposite of love is hate, while Mahito basically says, bro, stop overthinking. If you feel like killing, just kill. And Junpei, already done with humanity, weirdly agrees. Mahito shows him a bunch of transfigured humans to test his reaction. He promises to help him kill anyone he wants. Junpei leaves for home and Yuji along with Ichiji begin trailing him. Their plan: release a tiny cursed spirit in front of Junpei to confirm if he can see curses. Meanwhile, Nanami walks straight into Mahito's hideout because his shift isn't over yet. He explains his ratio technique, Mahito explains idol transfiguration, and they both start fighting like they are comparing who hates their job more. Nanami just wants to wrap it up before 6 PM because overtime is his personal cursed spirit. Back outside, Junpei bumps into a teacher who thinks he was friends with his bullies. Junpei almost snaps, but Yuji appears at the perfect moment with a fly head and confirms that Junpei can see curses. Nanami and Mahito keep going at it underground. Mahito tries to reshape Nanami's soul, but Nanami blocks it and escapes down the tunnel. As the clock hits 6 PM, his cursed energy spikes because apparently overtime mode is a real power-up. That wraps the episode. Junpei steps deeper into Mahito's darkness, Yuji finally approaches him, and Nanami clocks out by powering up. The episode 11 picks up with Nanami and Mahito still fighting, and it's finally 6 PM, Nanami's official overtime power-up. He had been limiting himself all day with a binding vow, so now his cursed energy jumps to full beast mode. Mahito thinks Nanami is done for, but Nanami hits him with collapse, blows up the tunnel wall, slices his leg, and uses the chaos to escape. Meanwhile, Yuji decides to talk to Junpei alone. They sit near the river, chat about movies, and for the first time, Junpei actually feels like a normal teenager. Things get even better when Junpei's mom invites Yuji for dinner. They eat, joke around, and Junpei genuinely enjoys the company, something he hasn't felt in a long time. Junpei asks Yuji if he's a sorcerer. Yuji admits it immediately and then regrets it 2 seconds later. Junpei asks if Yuji could ever kill someone, and Yuji says no because once you cross that line, you can't go back. His soul would never be the same. That line sticks with Junpei. Yuji leaves, and for a moment, Junpei decides he doesn't want to let hatred ruin him, but that hope lasts about 5 minutes because the episode ends with Junpei's mom dead on the dining table, killed by a curse attracted to the Sukuna finger Mahito planted there. Just when Junpei finally started liking life again, tragedy speedruns him straight into darkness. Next up in the episode 12, Mahito twisting the truth for Junpei, telling him his mom died because someone at school planted a Sukuna finger. That lie is all it takes for Junpei to snap. With his poison jellyfish, Moon drags, he storms into school ready to take revenge. Yuji arrives hoping to comfort him, only to find Junpei mid-murder attempt. Yuji tries stopping him from throwing his life away, but Junpei is too broken to listen. He attacks with poison, which obviously does nothing because Sukuna lives rent-free inside Yuji. Yuji eventually breaks through Junpei's defenses and corners him, and for a moment it feels like Yuji's words are reaching him. And then Mahito shows up, because of course he does, and immediately ruins everything. He touches Junpei, mutates him, and turns him into a transfigured human on the spot. Yuji begs Sukuna to save him, offers him anything, and Sukuna just laughs. Mahito laughs too, thinking he's clever, until he accidentally touches Yuji's soul and gets slapped mentally by Sukuna.
Don't forget your place.
foolish puppet.
Junpei dies in Yuji's arm and something in Yuji just snaps. He finally says the one line he's been holding back. He's going to kill Mahito, not exorcise, kill. The two fight brutally, Yuji landing hits that actually hurt Mahito because of the double soul situation. Just when Mahito almost lands a killing blow, Nanami arrives like the responsible adult he is. He tells Yuji they will talk later and immediately teams up with him. The episode ends with both of them ready for round 2, determined to take Mahito down right here and now. The next episode picks up with Mahito finally realizing Yuji isn't just some kid, he can actually beat him senseless. So Mahito does what any coward would. He spits out a bunch of transfigured humans to slow Yuji down, and yeah, Yuji hates killing them, but with Nanami in danger, he forces him to end their suffering. With both Yuji and Nanami cornering him, Mahito panics and pops his first domain expansion, self-embodiment of perfection. He drags Nanami inside but very wisely leaves Yuji out because touching Sukuna again is basically asking for death. Inside the domain, Nanami accepts he might die. He thinks back to his boring salaryman life and bakery girl he once helped, and now being a sorcerer while exhausting actually meant something. He has no regrets. And just when it looks like Mahito's about to finish him, Yuji literally breaks into the domain from outside. Mahito accidentally touches Sukuna's soul again, and Sukuna cuts him down instantly because he told him there would not be a second time. Mahito's domain shatters and he's left barely holding himself together. Yuji and Nanami try to finish him, but the slime ball escapes into the sewers at the last moment. Later, Yuji wakes up feeling guilty for killing people and for relying on Sukuna. Nanami tells him no one gets a perfect death and all he can do is keep living and keep trying. He officially recognizes Yuji as a sorcerer, responsible for staying alive and saving others. Meanwhile, Mahito hides underground plotting how he will break Yuji's soul next time. The episode ends with Yuji deciding one thing: he's not losing again, not until he takes Mahito down himself. Okay, battle time. Kyoto Sister School Exchange event, and it starts with Geto, Jogo and Mahito chilling in a hot spring like they are on vacation, plotting the end of humanity. Mahito's all beat up from fighting Yuji and Geto tells them the plan: steal the 6 Sukuna fingers stored at Jujutsu High. Back at Tokyo High, Gojo is busy annoying Nanami as usual. Nanami tells him he handed Junpei's Sukuna finger to the higher ups because he doesn't trust Gojo with important stuff, which is kinda fair point, and he also worries about Yuji's mental state, but Gojo insists the kid will be fine. Yuji shows up excited to reunite with everyone, and Gojo says they should do a dramatic surprise reveal, but instead of cheers, Megumi and Nobunaga look at him like he faked his death for fun. The Kyoto students arrive next, acting all serious. Their principal Gaku Kenji immediately orders them to kill Yuji because he is Sukuna's vessel. Half of them don't care, and Toto straight up leaves to watch his idol on TV. Meanwhile, Nobara beats Yuji up for disappearing. Maki demands her weapon back and Megumi checks in on Yuji, who quietly admits he lost someone but won't lose again. Finally, both teams head out for the exchange event. Yuji runs in front like a hero and Maki kicks him aside, and that sets up the chaos perfectly. The next episode exchange event kicks off and Tokyo's main strategy is simple: throw Toto at Yuji and let everyone else farm points. But Yuji wants a clean 1v1 win to show how much stronger he's gotten. The fight starts with Yuji kneeing Toto in the face, which Toto tanks before launching Yuji through trees like a rag doll. Then comes the legendary question: what kind of girls do you like? Yuji answers: tall girls with big birds, Jennifer Lawrence type. Instantly, Toto unlocks best friend mode and creates a whole imaginary childhood for them.
So you never lost anyone in your hometown, huh?
Kyoto's squad jumps in to kill Yuji, but Toto threatens to destroy his own team if they interfere. They retreat because, yeah, you don't argue with that man. Tokyo splits up to hunt curses but quickly realizes the real mission: protect Yuji. Megumi and Maki run into Kamo and Maiwa. Maki fights Maiwa, who apologizes for the assassination attempt but says she's just following orders and trying to earn more money. Well, honestly, valid reason. Back with Yuji and Toto, Toto loves how fast Yuji adapts. So when Yuji uses Divergent Fist, Toto screams that it's wrong, loud enough to echo across the entire forest. Yuji refuses to stay weak, and Toto loves that answer. That's the spirit, best friend. And that's the episode. Yuji trying not to die, Toto trying to recruit a soulmate, and everyone else trying to stop Kyoto from committing a crime mid-school event. The next episode jumps right in with Toto asking Yuji the most Toto question ever. "You cool with being weaker than me?" Yuji yells no, so Toto switches the fight into a personal training session disguised as violence. He fixes Yuji's cursed energy lag and teaches him how to sync his hits properly. Yuji actually pulls it off, and Toto looks one step away from calling him little brother. Meanwhile, Nobara's roasting Momo from a tree, and Panda gets snipped by Mekamaru, but Panda stands up like nothing happened and lectures him for attacking students instead of curses. Mekamaru takes it personally because yes, even robots can get offended. Then we see the real Mekamaru, Kokichi, basically living in a bathtub because his heavenly restriction makes sunlight feel like lava. The real fight starts. Panda reveals he has 3 crows: Panda, Gorilla, and Mystery Crow. The story never bothers to show. After tanking Mekamaru's blast, he switches to Gorilla mode and absolutely smashes him. Panda wins, but instead of bragging, he just says he wants to meet Kokichi for real someday. Kokichi gives a tiny smile, which is basically a full character arc for him. And that's the episode. Toto playing Jimbro Sensei, Panda beating a robot with raw gorilla power, and Kyoto vs Tokyo turning a school event into World War III. The last episode of the exchange event opens with Maki vs Maiwa, and Maiwa immediately learns that everything Mai said about Maki being weak was a straight up lie. Maki is a monster, easily overpowering her, and even the adults watching admit she's criminally underrated. Mimi wonders why someone this strong is still a grade 4, and Gojo casually explains her clan holds her back. Classic Zenin behavior. Meanwhile, Nobara is fighting Momo mid-air, and Momo starts giving a whole lecture about how hard it is for Mai because she's a woman in the Zenin clan. Nobara shuts her down instantly, basically saying, "If you hate the job, quit. I like dressing cute and punching people. Let me live." Nobara blows up the forest with a hairpin, grabs Momo's broom, clashes her, and starts hacking her with a squeaky hammer until Mai shoots Nobara with a cursed energy bullet and knocks her out. Maki finishes her fight with Maiwa and bumps into Mai next. The sisters argue. Mai blames Maki for leaving the clan and leaving her behind. We learn that since they are twins, their powers are linked. Mai's cursed energy feeds into Maki's heavenly restriction, meaning neither of them can reach their full potential. Then in family bonus pack, misery for everyone. Their fight ends with Mai using her 1 per day constructed bullet. Maki catches it with her bare hand because of course she does and defeats her. Mai admits that she hates her but also clearly just wanted her sister to stay. Episode 18 opens with Megumi vs Kamo, and Kamo immediately tries bonding over "We are both future clan heads." Megumi shuts that fantasy down on sight. They trade blood techniques and Shikigami until Inumaki sprints in, screaming danger with his face. One look at Hanami, the tree demon that was not invited, and they all choose survival over pride. Hanami gives his save the planet by deleting humans' speech, while the adults finally notice every camera is dead. Gojo rushes in, but hits a barrier that blocks only him. The villains literally patch the game just to nerf Gojo. Inside, Mahito and Juzo start causing chaos while Megumi tells Kamo to stop comparing sparing their lives. Max Elephant floods the place. New shocks Kamo, and right when the fight gets interesting, Hanami pulls up again. Togi appears, drops a single run, and all the talismans flash red. Event officially cooked. Otaime and Gakugenji breaks through the barrier without Gojo obviously and run into Juzo, who's mad he didn't get to fight Gojo like bro you wouldn't last a frame. Meanwhile Hanami corners the students. Togi slows him down. Hanami starts talking telepathically about becoming sages and everyone collectively decides they'd rather not die for eco-activism. Episode 19 picks up with Megumi, Kamo and Inumaki desperately trying to slow down Hanami. They are doing okay until Togi's throat gives out and their whole plan collapses. Hanami smacks Kamo into the ground. Megumi drags him away, and just when things look cooked, Maki arrives with a katana like she's clocking in for overtime. Megumi cuts Hanami's face, branches and discovers the weak spot, but Hanami regenerates instantly because of course he does. Maki pulls out Playful Cloud, a special grade staff, and the two of them actually start pushing Hanami back. Maki slams him across the forest. Megumi sends in Divine Dog Totality, and the tag team is working until a cursed bird stabs Megumi and blocks his energy. Maki gets distracted, gets stabbed too, and boom, the momentum dies. Right then, Yuji and Todo drops in from the sky like DLC characters. Panda carries Megumi and Maki out while Yuji steps up. Todo tells him he's not helping until Yuji lands a black flash. Basically a punch so perfectly timed it bends space and hits 2.5 times harder. Yuji tries, fails, gets stabbed by Todo, friendship style, calms down and then lands his first black flash so fast his spirit hasn't even hit the ground. Todo looks proud enough to cry. Hanami heals, the boys takes their stands and the real fight begins. Yuji and Todo move in perfect sync, dodging roots, countering every hit and cooking Hanami like they are running a two-man kitchen. Hanami for the first time actually looks like he's enjoying himself, and that's where the episode leaves us. Yuji powering up, Todo calling himself best friend every 2 minutes, and Hanami realizing he might have picked the wrong forest today. The next episode starts with baby Todo in 3rd grade beating up a whole high schooler because life is boring. Then Yuki Tsukumo pulls up on a bike, asks him what type of woman he likes, and somehow that becomes his whole personality. Back to the present, Yuji and Todo are still cooking Hanami. Yuji hits multiple black flashes in a row and casually ties Nanami's record. Todo finally shows off Boogie Woogie, his grab and swap technique, and it absolutely breaks Hanami's brain. They keep switching places, punching Hanami from every angle, and Yuji lands 4 black flashes back to back like it's nothing. Hanami starts adapting, so Todo swaps Yuji out with Playful Cloud, the special grade staff, and smacks Hanami straight into the river. Hanami tries powering up and even attempts to domain, but then he senses something. Fear, because Gojo finally breaks the wheel. Gojo pulls up, floating mid-air like a final boss, casually deletes Juzo's limbs, and then fires Hollow Purple at Hanami. The blast is so insane, even Todo can't tell if Hanami survived.
Yay! That should settle everything! Or maybe it won't.
Meanwhile, Mahito quietly steals the death paintings and dips. Mission complete. Episode 21 kicks off with the higher-ups trying to figure out how the villains pulled off yesterday's chaos. Turns out that cursed fingers placed at Junpei's house had a tracker on it, and once it reached Jujutsu High's secret vault, the villains basically got a GPS location to all the Sukuna fingers. And yeah, they robbed the entire place while everyone was busy stressing about the wheel. Mahito and Hanami regroup in an underground cave, both half dead. Shigemo tries to kill Hanami for bonus points, but Mahito stops him like, relax, the mission's done. Flashback time, Gato explains that Tengen's barrier moves every day and doesn't work on plants, which is how Hanami slipped in. Also, they didn't trap Gojo because killing one landmine student Yuji would ruin their entire plan. Basically, don't poke Sukuna, don't poke Gojo, just steal stuff and leave. Back at Jujutsu High, the teachers confirm Mahito stole all the Sukuna fingers fingers and that paintings 1, 2, 3. The cursed user they caught knows nothing. He was literally hired to do the wheel. Meanwhile, the students are recovering. Yuji, Nobara and Megumi reunite, roast each other a bit, and Megumi admits Yuji got stronger. Then Todo appears out of nowhere to remind everyone he's emotionally attached for no reason, making Yuji sprint away. The next day, Gojo lets the students decide if the goodwill event should continue. Todo gives a surprisingly logical speech, shocking, everyone agrees, and Yuji randomly draws baseball. Tokyo and Kyoto go at it, drama, pitches, Maki clapping Todo in the face, Maiwa being Maiwa, everything you did expect. The end, Yuji hits a home run, Tokyo wins, and the goodwill event wraps up peacefully for once. And that's it. Villains got what they wanted, heroes got a baseball match, and Gojo got entertainment. In the next episode, Origin of Blind Obedience Part 1, things start with Yuji, Megumi and Nobara heading to Megumi's old middle school with Nita to check out a girl's case. And the moment Megumi enters, all the local punks suddenly bow like they just saw their old gang leader. Yuji and Nobara think it's because they look scary. No, it's all Megumi. Turns out our quiet guy used to beat up bullies for fun, so he has a full delinquent reputation. They start digging into the case. A bunch of weird deaths happened recently and all victims went under this creepy Yashohaki bridge. Whoever crosses the stream under it gets marked by a special grade curse, but the curse activates randomly after years, 2 weeks of weird hallucinations, and then they die at their doorsteps. Then Megumi learns the worst part. His sister Sumiki also went under that bridge with one of the victims. He panics and tries calling Gojo, but Gojo is busy being Gojo somewhere. The higher-ups tell them to retreat, but Megumi lies to Yuji and Nobara and goes alone, planning to deal with the curse himself like some tragic anime protagonist. Meanwhile, Mahito and Geto are chilling with the death painting moms they stole and literally feed them to random humans to give them bodies. Back at the bridge, Megumi tries to cross the curse conditions alone, but Yuji and Nobara show up behind him like, bro, stop being mysterious, we are your friends. Megumi finally admits Sumiki is in danger and they step into the curse's domain together. Inside, they find the mole-like curse and then one of the death painting brothers pops up too. Perfect timing. Yuji takes the new guy while Megumi and Nobara handles the domain curse, and that's where the episode sets up the upcoming fight. Episode 23 picks with Megumi diving under the Yashohaki bridge to fight the special grade alone because of course he tries to solo everything, but Yuji and Nobara show up right behind him like, bro, stop being dramatic, we are coming too. Inside the domain, things get chaotic fast. Nobara gets yoinked out of the wall, Yuji follows her, and suddenly Megumi's stuck alone with a curse to hack a mole. After a few hits, the real curse pops out and knocks Megumi down hard. This is when Megumi remembers Gojo's lecture, stop holding back, stop playing the hero who sacrifices himself and actually try to win for once. Inspired, Megumi finally goes all in and unleashes Chimera Shadow Garden. Messy, incomplete, leaking shadows everywhere, but dangerously effective. With frogs, dogs, clones, and raw willpower, he overwhelms the special grade and finishes it with Divine Dog Totality. Then he immediately collapses because that's how domain expansions work when you are 15. While he's passed out, we get glimpses of his past, Sumiki being the kind one, Megumi hating bad people, his deadbeat dad vanishing, and Gojo stepping in to save both siblings from the Zenin clan. Basically, Megumi's childhood was DLC content nobody asked for. Outside, Nobara runs into Eso and Kechizu, the death painting bros, who explain they are on a mission to get Sukuna's finger. Perfect timing, because right then Yuji and Kechizu crash into the scene like two kids chasing each other at recess. Nobara bonks Eso on the head, Eso gets mad and the fight begins, and that's where the episode sets up the trio next big battle. Megumi and Conscious, Yuji and Nobunaga versus two cursed brothers and the worst family reunion ever. Okay, wrapping up the season, episode 24 picks up with Yuji and Nobunaga still fighting the death painting brothers Eso and Kachizu. Their poison blood hits both of them. Yuji is fine because well, Sukuna perks, but Nobunaga has only 1 minute unless the technique is released. Instead of panicking, Nobunaga smiles like a menace and uses resonance on herself, turning the fight into a literal game of who gives up first. Kachizu starts screaming first, obviously, and that gives Yuji the perfect opening to beat Eso senseless. The two first years then switches positions, sync up perfectly and land a double black flash, deleting both brothers in the most stylish way possible. But when their bodies don't disappear, Yuji realizes they were half human. He hates it. Nobunaga, she shrugs and says she's fine being an empress just this once. They head back under the bridge and find Megumi knocked out but alive.
Yay! I was scared! I thought you were dead for sure! Thank God!
He wakes up like nothing happened and casually hands Yuji a Sukuna finger for safekeeping. Sukuna eats it instantly because of course he does. The episode wraps with everyone returning to school life. Gojo brags about his students, the Kyoto squad recommends them for promotion, and the trio barely gets time to breathe before Gojo calls them again for a top secret mission. And that's the season, my friends. Friendship, trauma, poison blood, and Gojo sending children to fight demons as usual. Alrighty, before jumping into the next season, we have got Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the movie, released in 2021, and let's wrap this one up quickly. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 takes us 1 year before Yuji ever joins the school, and this time our main guy is Yuta Okutsu, a soft, anxious kid who just happens to be haunted by the most terrifying girlfriend ever. Yuta gets bullied, wants the bullies to back off, and of course they don't, so they get crushed by Rika, his childhood friend who died in an accident and came back as a cringy special grade curse. Yeah, she loves him so much she kills people for him. Well, isn't it cute, huh? The higher ups freak out, so they call Gojo, who makes one look at Yuta and goes, yep, he's enrolling. He introduces him to Maki, Inumaki, and Panda, who immediately throws weapons at him because he's basically leaking cursed energy like a broken tap. Yuta teams up with Maki for a mission at an elementary school where kids went missing. They get eaten by a giant curse. Normal Tuesday, Yuta panics, wears Rika's ring, and Rika shows up to destroy everything. Problem solved in the most dramatic way possible. Gojo tells Yuta to learn swordsmanship and borrow Rika's energy properly. Cute training montage with Maki bullying him into shape. Somewhere in between, Panda asks inappropriate questions and Yuta becomes accidentally likable. Later, Yuta goes on a mission with Inumaki, sees him solo curses with one word and thinks, wow, this guy is way more dangerous than he looks. But then Suguru Geto shows up, the ex-sorcerer gone full villain. He hates humans so much he calls them monkeys. Geto announces a huge attack on December 24th with 2000 cursed spirits. Sounds scary, but it's actually a distraction so he can slip away and steal Rika from Yuta, because yes, Rika is powerful enough to make villains plan holidays around her. On the 24th, everyone goes to fight, but Geto isn't there. Instead, he breaks into Tokyo Jujutsu High, beats up Maki, Panda, and Inumaki, and goes straight for Yuta. Yuta snaps, heals his friends using reverse cursed energy already broken, copies techniques, and even hits a black flash. This boy's growth rate is illegal. Geto throws everything at him, curses, special grade monsters, the whole circus. Yuta fully bonds with Rika, unleashes 100% of her power, and basically nukes Geto. He's left crawling emotionally and physically. Gojo arrives, talking to Geto like her heartbroken ex, and the fight finally ends. Then the truth drops. Rika didn't curse Yuta. Yuta cursed Rika. As a kid, he refused to accept her death, and because he's from an insanely powerful sorcerer lineage, yes, he's related to Gojo, she became a curse tied to him. The curse breaks, Rika is freed, and the movie ends with Yuta finally ready to move forward, not as a victim, but as a real sorcerer. Moving on to the next season, we have season 2, which opens up with a throwback. Gojo, Gato and Shoko in high school, back when Gojo was just as annoying but slightly less dramatic. Meanwhile, Meme and Utami take a mission at a haunted mansion and instantly get trapped in a looping barrier because the curse inside is weak but sneaky. They run full speed to break out, and right when it works, the whole house explodes. Gojo's entrance, of course. 2 days passed inside without them realizing, and the second years arrive to save them. Utami yells, Shoko smokes, Gato complains, and Gojo teases everyone. Business as usual. Back at school, Yaga scolds the trio for forgetting the most basic rule, cast a wheel. Gojo argues that normal people can't see curses anyway, and Gato gives his morality and responsibility lecture. Then Yaga drops the real mission: protect a girl named Riko Amane, the star plasma vessel. She needs to merge with Master Tengen, or else Tengen evolves into something not very friendly. Two groups want Riko dead: the curse user group Q and the religious cult that worships Tengen and thinks Riko is impure. Before Gojo and Gato can even process it, Q attacks. Suguro saves the girl mid-air. Gojo blocks knives with infinity like it's nothing, and just when things seems under control, we meet a new guy, Toji Fushiguro. Yup, Megumi's dead. He smiles, takes the assassination contract, and the episode basically says, yeah, things are about to get messy. The second episode picks up with Gojo and Gato wiping out Q like they are sweating flies. Zero effort. Then they finally meet Riko and her caretaker Misato. Riko acts like a dramatic teenager who thinks merging with Tengen is some royal honor, but to Gojo and Gato, she's clearly just coping. Gojo wants to hide her inside Tengen's barrier early, but Tengen specifically tells them to let the girl enjoy her last day. Gato agrees, she's young, let her live a bit, so Gojo has no choice but to chill out. Meanwhile, Toji, aka the sorcerer killer, gets hired by the star religious group to kill Riko. They are weak but loaded, and Toji works for money, and apparently for gambling losses. Instead of fighting, he posts a 30 million bounty on Riko to tire Gojo out, and it works cause users start attacking non-stop. Gato crushes an old Shikigami user. Gojo handles a clone user but fails at reverse curse technique because baby Gojo hasn't unlocked the healing DLC yet. Infinity is manual. Red and purple don't exist for him yet. Bro's still learning the controls. Back at the hotel, Riko wakes up, panics, threatens them, and Misato has to explain that shockingly they are actually on her side. Riko goes full I am Tengen's mode, and the boys ignore her until she realizes she's missing school. So yes, they take her to school because Tengen said to grant her wishes like she's a dying Disney princess. Then Toji's bounty hits hard. More curse users swarm. Gato interrogates one. Gojo grabs Riko from class, and Misato even drops one guy with a low blow. Queen moment.
Oh, please forgive me. It was a family emergency. Sorry.
Okay, then here's my phone number.
But then they get the bad news. Misato's been kidnapped, and Riko gets the message right as Gojo is flexing blue like it's nothing. Alrighty, episode 3 picks up right after Misato Kuroi gets kidnapped. Literally, the one job she had was stay safe, and boom, she's gone. Gato comes back annoyed. They regroup with Riko and rescue Kuroi in seconds because, well, they are built different. They head to Okinawa for a mini vacation. Gojo even scans every single passenger on the plane like airport security on steroids. Beach food fun. They try to give Riko some normal memories before things get serious. Kuroi panics about getting trapped, but Gato already has Nanami and Haibara waiting at Naha airport. Meanwhile, Gojo hasn't slept in forever but still acts like it's nothing. At night, they take Riko around the city. Calm moments, smiles just a little piece before reality hits. Next morning, they fly back. The bounty ends. Gojo finally relaxes for the first time. And that's exactly when Toji pops up and stabs him like he spawned out of thin air. Gojo and Toji clash. Blue, giant curses, crazy weapons, but Toji's speed and zero cursed energy throw everything off. Gojo hesitates for a second. Toji lands the inverted spear of heaven and Gojo goes down. Meanwhile, Geto reaches the tombs with Riko and Kuroi. In the elevator, Riko chooses life. Geto smiles, finally relieved. And Toji shoots her instantly. Calm as ever, he says the mission's done and even flexes that he killed Gojo. Geto breaks, his curses swarm and the real fight begins. Episode 4 kicks off right after the mess. Suguro's frozen, first Riko dies and now Toji's standing there like he's just beat a raid boss solo. Suguro loses it and throws everything at him. Rainbow Dragon, projectiles, mid-air attacks. Toji, he's casually dodging, cutting and even slicing the dragon in half like he's sweating flies. Suguro tries absorbing Toji's cursed spirit to shut him down, but the spirit straight up rejects him. Toji calls him stupid for getting close, slices him up, kicks him down and ends the fight before the collapsing platform even hits the ground. He only spares him because he doesn't want to deal with whatever happens to all the curses Suguro absorbed. Before leaving, Toji mocks both him and Gojo, two blessed sorcerers, losing to a guy with zero cursed energy, and right then he remembers his son, Megumi. He drops off Riko's body to the cult people and goes for his payout, but outside Gojo is there, alive, awake and basically running on god mode. Turns out when Toji stabbed him, Gojo figured out reverse cursed energy on the spot, healed himself and came back stronger. Toji knows something is off, his instincts are screaming to run, but his pride says stay. Round 2 starts, Gojo hits Red for the first time and sends Toji flying across the city. Toji tries fighting back, but Gojo's already leagues above him, floating, calm, terrifying. He drops the iconic line,
Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
Then he ends Toji with purple, one clean shot. As he dies, Toji finally mentions Megumi, tells Gojo his kid will be sold to the Zenin clan in a couple years. Gojo, completely changed, asks if he should kill all the non-sorcerers celebrating her death. Suguro says no, but the way Gojo walks off, yeah, he's not the same guy anymore. And that's where the episode ends. Episode 5 jumps a year ahead and things could not be more opposite for Gojo and Geto. Gojo's leveling up like crazy, Infinity is automatic. Meanwhile, Geto looks drained, tired, lost, still stuck in the trauma of the past. He keeps swearing curses every day, comparing it to eating dirty rags soaked in filth. In the worst part, he keeps telling himself he's doing it for humans, even though he's slowly starting to wonder if humans even deserve saving. One day, he meets Hypera, all smiles, pure energy, excited for his mission and even asking Geto what souvenir he wants. It's wholesome and it hurts because we already know where this is going. Then Yuki Sumuko shows up. She asks her usual, what kind of woman do you like? question, and Geto does not have the energy for that. But their conversation hits hard. She talks about creating a world without curses and Geto casually suggests, what if we just removed all non-sorcerers instead? Yuki laughs it off, but Geto's voice, it wasn't a joke. Days pass and then the news break, Hypera is dead. Nanami is furious, the system failed again and Geto finally cracks. On a solo mission, he finds two little sorcerer girls being abused by villagers who blame them for everything, and that's the moment he snaps completely. He kills the entire village, 112 people, then kills his own parents, and just like that, Geto Suguro becomes a curse user. Jujutsu High sentences him to death and Gojo goes to confront him, but he can't do it. Geto simply walks away, telling Gojo that if he had Gojo's power, his ideas wouldn't sound so crazy. They did be possible. The episode wraps with Gojo meeting little Megumi. Megumi doesn't care about Toji, doesn't even remember his face, and Gojo quietly decides to take responsibility for him. They start of a bond we already know grows big in the future. Episode 6 starts right. Yuji wants to watch Human Earth from 4. Nobara refuses instantly and Megumi silently heads back to school. But a girl from Yuji's middle school, Yuko, spots him and things get interesting. At the same time, Todo and Meme recommend Yuji, Megumi, Nobara, Maki and Panda for grade 1 promotions. All that's left is a test mission with the first grade sorcerer. These kids are leveling up so fast. Back to Yuko, she meets Nobara, admits she had a crush on Yuji back when she was short and chubby and wants to talk to him again. Nobara drags Megumi into this and they both hit the "it's like that" moment together. Yuji arrives and instantly recognizes Yuko. No shock, no awkwardness. Yuko realizes he always saw her as her, not her looks. She gets nervous, escapes the confession and leaves, but Nobara grabbed her number anyway. Yuji comes back still begging them to watch that cursed movie. Then the mood flips. Utame pulls the trio to investigate the mole at Jujutsu Kaisen. All signs point to Mekamaru. His puppet technique makes spying too easy. They find a fake hideout, confirming he's the traitor. Meanwhile, Kokichi meets Geto and Mahito. Their deal was simple. He gives crucial info. Mahito fixes his body. Breaking vows has nasty consequences, so Mahito heals him. Annoyed but careful. The moment Kokichi gets his real body, he escapes and unleashes Mekamaru mode. Absolute, ready to burn 17 years of cursed energy in one final fight against Mahito. And that's where the chaos truly begins. Episode 7 picks up right where the chaos begins. Kokichi finally has a real body, but no time to enjoy it because Mahito pulls up immediately trying to kill him. And Kokichi pro's been storing 17 years of cursed energy like it's a bank FD, and today he is cashing it all out. He fires blast worth 1 year, 2 years, even 5 years at Mahito. Nothing fully sticks because you can just punch a soul, but he slowly figures out what actually hurts Mahito, and when Mahito gets cornered, he throws out his domain, self-embodiment of perfection. Kokichi survives with a simple domain, basically the "I refuse to die yet" button. The weaker clans hide like exam cheat codes. Kokichi fakes being dead, lands another hit, and actually pushes Mahito to the edge. For a second it feels like he won until Mahito jumps into the cockpit and ends him before Kokichi can deliver the final blow. His last thought, Maiwa, yeah, pain. Meanwhile, Maiwa is sitting beside his puppet at Kyoto High, happily talking about how she wants to get closer to him, completely unaware he's already gone. Tragic timing, run, oh run. And with Kokichi dead, the runs finish their preparations. 10 days later, on Halloween night, a massive curtain drops over Shibuya. Civilians are trapped and told, relax, you can leave once Gojo arrives. Classic bait. Sorcerers gather outside. Megumi, Nanami, Nobara, Maki, Panda, everyone waiting for the signal. And at 8:31 PM, Gojo finally walks into Shibuya, straight into the trap Kokichi died trying to warn him about. Episode 8 drops us straight into the Shibuya incident. The villains finally launch their big plan, and the first step is simple: trap thousands of civilians under a giant wheel and wait for one specific guy to walk in. And of course, everyone inside starts chanting the same thing: call Gojo. The higher-ups order him to handle it alone, and every other sorcerer team stays on standby. Gojo steps inside, reads the situation in 2 seconds, and heads down to where Hanami, Jogo, and Chozo are waiting like they are auditioning for how to beat the strongest 101. Meanwhile, Yuji joins Meme's team. He wants to help Gojo, but Meme tells him he will get his chance. They rush to another station with its own wheel, and inside are tons of transfigured humans. So yeah, Mahito's fingerprints are all over this. Yuji runs into a grasshopper curse who keeps calling himself very smart. Yuji disagrees physically. He beats him up, finds the nail powering the barrier, breaks it, and Meme praises his growth, which is rare. Also, Yoyo makes sure he accepts the compliment like a good boy. Back to Gojo, Geto's plan becomes obvious. Surround Gojo with civilians so he can go all out. No red, no purple, no domain, just thousands of screaming humans blocking his every move. The curses start attacking the crowd to force his his hand, and when they rush him, Jogo and Hanami even use domain amplification to cancel his infinity. Gojo retreats for a split second and Jogo tries to crown him for running. Gojo just sighs. He's not shocked at the attack, he's shocked they really think they can win with this plan. And that sets up the real showdown. The episode opens with Gojo's student hyping him up as the strongest, and honestly after this episode they were not lying. Cut back to Shibuya where Gojo is facing Jogo, Hanami and Chozo all at once. They hit him with domain amplification, which basically turns their bodies into mini domains that cancel out Gojo's infinity. Downside, they can't use their own techniques while it's active. Even with that handicap, Gojo's still casually beating them with pure hands like he's sparring, not fighting for his life. Hanami makes the mistake of turning off domain amplification to use her technique. That's exactly what Gojo wanted. He rushes in, grabs her weak spot and deletes her from existence. Jogo panics and runs like Gojo is a ghost haunting him. Meanwhile, Yuji reaches the lowest subway floor. Mahito's long gone. He left behind a train full of transfigured humans headed straight for Gojo. And yup, the train arrives in Shibuya. Chaos everywhere. Civilians start seeing monsters because transfigured humans are visible to everyone. Gojo looks around, people dying, curses attacking, panic everywhere. He knows he can't save everyone, but he still wants to. So he takes a risk nobody expected.
Domain expansion. Infinite void.
He opens unlimited void for 0.2 seconds, just long enough to paralyze everyone without breaking their brains. In that tiny window, he wipes out 1000 transfigured humans in under 5 minutes. Absolute insanity. But this move drains him. Exactly what Geto was waiting for. Prison realm appears. Gojo senses danger, but then he looks up and sees Geto, his best friend, the man he killed with his own hands. His brain freezes, his heart does too. That 1 second of emotional damage is all the prison realm needs. Gojo is sealed. Fake Geto finally reveals himself as a Kenjaku, the body-hopping curse user who stole Geto's corpse. Gojo laughs it off like, "Congrats, you are using the body I already beat." And somewhere in the station, Mekamaru's backup message reaches Yuji, Gojo has been sealed. The next episode picks up right where the chaos left off. Gojo's sealed and Kenjaku is standing there acting like he just won the lottery. Gojo basically tells him, "Bro, close the lid already, I am tired of your face." Before it shuts, Gojo calls out to Suguro and somehow Geto's body reacts. His hand literally tries to choke Kenjaku to death. Peak best friend energy, even from the afterlife. Mahito wakes up confused. Kenjaku explains his body equals soul logic and Gojo gets irritated like, "Guys, can you finish sealing me before I lose more brain cells listening to this?" Boom, prison realm closes. Objective complete. Meanwhile, Kokichi's backup plan is playing to life. A tiny Mekamaru device appears on Yuji's ear and tells him the worst news possible. Gojo's been sealed. Yuji panics, sprints back into Shibuya, climbs a building and does the only communication method left. He yells and everyone hears, even the curses. Sorcerer teams start moving but the wheels are blocking entries, signals, everything. Ichichi tries to coordinate things but a curse user stabs him from behind. Their whole plan is to kill every assistant so no communication stays alive. Back underground, the villains celebrate. Kind of. Prison realm becomes insanely heavy because it needs time to process Gojo. Even sealed, he's built different. So Kenjaku plays guard while Mahito, Jogo and Chozo fight over who gets Yuji first. They basically turn it into a twisted race. Chozo wants revenge, Mahito wants fun, Jogo wants Sukuna online ASAP, and they all run off. Yuji reunites with Nanami, Megumi and Aino. Mekamaru fills them in properly this time. Where Gojo is, how he was sealed and what needs to be done. Their first mission, break the curtain trapping sorcerers outside. Because if they can't even reach Gojo, saving him is a dream. Nanami leaves logistics to the boys and tells Aino they are your responsibility now. Aino gets dramatic, explains the stakes. If Gojo isn't freed, Japan is doomed. And with that, the race to save Gojo officially begins. The episode starts with Yuji, Megumi and Ino trying to break the Shibuya wheel. The villains are using those screw-like talismans to power it, so the plan is simple: find the screws, destroy these screws. They scan the city, spot one suspicious building sticking out like a sore thumb, and perfect! 3 curse users chilling on the roof. But right before the fight, flashback time. December 7th, 1989, Satoru Gojo is born. The first sorcerer in ages with 6 eyes plus limitless. Basically, the universe installed a cheat code and called it a baby. And those same 3 curse users, they tried killing him when he was 7. One glare from Kid Gojo and their whole career ended. Back to present, Yuji and Megumi rush the bald guy. Ino goes after the grandma-grandson duo. Ino pops off with auspicious beast summon, but Granny hits him with a cute me too and summons the last person anyone wants to deal with, Toji, freaking Fushi Goro. Her grandson becomes Toji and Toji immediately breaks Ino like he's made of plastic. Meanwhile, Yuji and Megumi are beating Baldry like he owes rent, but he takes 0 damage. Nothing works, not even a skyscraper drop. Then Megumi figures it out. His technique is inverse: strong hits do nothing, weak hits hurt like hell. So the plan becomes mix weak plus strong, find his sweet spot, and Yuji finishes it with a fake full power punch that switches to a weak flick and the last second. Baldry drops, the wheel breaks, and Shibuya get even worse. Episode 12 jumps straight into chaos. Nanami finds Ijiji half dead in Shibuya and instantly switches into I will end someone today mode. Meanwhile, Meme is casually flexing her grade 1 powers while her brother cheers like she's a K-pop idol. Yuji and Megumi break the curtain, spot Ino falling off a building and save him just in time. But before they can breathe, Ogami's fiancé goes wrong and Toji literally hijacks her grandson's body. Granny tries to give order and Toji responds by deleting her from the storyline. Across Shibuya, Nobara and Nita bump into Haruta, the discount villain who attacked Ijiji. His sword literally has its own brain and starts hunting Nita while Haruta plays around with Nobara. She fights back, but he lands a brutal hit and knocks her out. And right when Haruta is about to finish the job, Nanami walks in like an office worker who finally snapped. He destroys Haruta with 0 effort. Hair grab, ratio punch, wall slam, the whole package. Nobara just watches like she's witnessing the definition of grade 1 sorcerer. Elsewhere, Meme runs into fake Ghetto. He drops a special grade curse on her, smallpox deity, and it traps her in a coffin. She breaks out like it's nothing. But yeah, this fight is about to get messy. Back underground, Yuji heads deeper into Shibuya to save Gojo and immediately runs into Chozo, who looks like he's been waiting his whole life for this revenge match. And that's where things really start heating up. In the next episode, Yuji's running toward Gojo like his life depends on it, which, to be fair, it kind of does when he finds civilians being attacked. Luckily, Inumaki shows up with his usual salmon, cod, go, whatever vocabulary and handles the rescue. Yuji dips and keeps moving. Inside Shibuya station, it's empty, a little too empty, and that's when he runs into Chozo, big brother of the 2 curses Yuji killed. Chozo doesn't waste a second and basically tries to snipe Yuji's arm off with piercing blood. Yuji powers through and they start brawling, but Chozo's blood attacks are insane. Dude fires bloods, waves, explosions, everything except a laser beam. Yuji gets pushed into a corner until Mekamaru suddenly radios in with his last hope plan. Run to the bathroom. Yes, bathroom. Yuji listens, breaks all the pipes, floods the place, and boom, Chozo's blood attacks stop working. Turns out blood doesn't like water. Who knew? With ranged attacks gone, they go full hand to hand. Yuji even starts winning until Chozo pulls out one last hidden attack and blasts Yuji in the river. Yuji still refuses to go down, but Chozo is just too strong. After a brutal exchange, Chozo finally knocks him out and goes in for the kill. And then he stops. Out of nowhere, Chozo gets hit with a fake memory where Yuji is literally eating lunch with him and his cursed brothers like they are one big happy family. Chozo freaks out, spits blood, and runs off confused because why was Yuji in that memory at all? Yuji's left unconscious on the floor as Mimiko and Naneko Neko walk in and approach him, and that's where things get messy next. The next episode opens with Meme and Yuyu fighting the smallpox deity. Its domain is basically coffin, gravestone, timer, die. Meme escapes twice and instantly figures out the trick. The curse always targets whoever has the highest cursed energy. So she dumps her energy, boosts Yuyu's, and the curse grabs him instead. Perfect setup. While Yuyu's stuck in a coffin, Meme slices the curse's hands clean off. Yuyu even drops a simple domain inside the coffin because apparently he's not just emotional support. The curse tries one last attack, but Meme's final crow uses bird strike and deletes it in one hit. They step out like it was warm-up practice and walk straight towards Pseudo Ghetto. Cut to Nanami, Maki and Naobito rushing to Gojo, but Dagon appears before they get there. Naobito flexes his projection sorcery, basically turning himself into 60 FPS and slams Dagon's across the station. Dagon cries about Hanami, evolves instantly and floods the whole area. The fight gets wild. Naobito blocking waves, Nanami dropping heavy hits, Maki holding the front line until Dagon traps all three inside his domain. Guaranteed hits everywhere. Then Megumi bursts into the domain from the outside, hands Maki her weapon, play full crowd, and the whole fight flips. Maki launches Dagon, Nanami and Naobito cuts through Shikigami, and Megumi works on opening an exit. He cracks a hole in the domain, and before anyone can escape, Toji Fushiguro jumps in like he's clocking in for work. In the second part of Fluctuations, Toji drops into Dagon's domain like a glitch in the system. Megumi's domain cracks, escape shuts down, and before anyone can panic, Toji just yoinks playful crowd from Maki and turns Dagon into literal seafood. Everyone's staring like, who is this gym-built ghost? Naobito knows, Maki doesn't, but she's already thinking. Domain collapses, Toji smells strongest and instantly locks onto Megumi. Yeah, father-son reunion is speedrun. Meanwhile, Jogo shows up furious and burns Nanako's friend alive on the spot. Back with Yuji, the Hasaba sisters force feed him a finger to bring Sukuna out and beg for help against Suguro Ghetto. Jogo arrives and says cute idea, then feeds Yuji 10 more like a cursed buffet. Result, Sukuna wakes up at 15 fingers, 3/4 power, and everyone forgets how to breathe. The girls ask him to kill Kanjaku. Sukuna's response, you dare give a king orders, and he slices them both instantly. Then Sukuna turns to Jogo. Jogo wants nothing, just Sukuna's revival. Sukuna likes the honesty and gives him a deal. Land one hit on me and I will help your little extermination plan. And that's where the real nightmare begins. The episode Thunderclap picks up with Megumi dealing with Toji, who still doesn't recognize his own son and is literally chasing him like the fastest man alive. Megumi even throws out Rabbit Escape to slow him down, but Toji cuts through everything like it's nothing. Meanwhile, Panda and Kusakabe are wandering around Shibuya because Kusakabe is trying his absolute best to avoid the place where Gojo got sealed. Man's giving Panda useless chores just to stay away from danger.
This is bad. I'm gonna run out of excuses soon.
Back to Megumi, he finally tries to set up a counterattack, but right when Toji closes in, something clicks in Toji's head. He asks Megumi his name. Megumi says Fushiguro, and Toji realizes his son didn't choose Zenin. Proud for the first and the last time, Toji kills himself to protect him. Megumi just kneels there, confused about who he was fighting. But before he can process any of it, Haruta Shigemo appears and backstabs him. Meanwhile, Shibuya is shaking because Sukuna and Jogo are having a world-ending 1v1. Buildings burn, magma floods the street, Sukuna is dodging everything like it's nothing, and Jogo keeps pushing past his limits. He even drops a literal meteor on the city, which almost kills everyone. Panda, Kusakabe, the curse users all frozen because Sukuna told them not to move. The meteor hits, Jogo survives, but Sukuna is sitting behind him without a scratch, and then out of nowhere, Sukuna pulls out a fire arrow. Yeah, a fire arrow. We will get the explanation later. Before the episode ends, Sukuna actually praises Jogo for fighting till the end. And then we meet Raume, the white-haired attendant who has apparently been serving Sukuna for years. The episode starts with Megumi barely standing and Shigemo happily stalking him like he just found a discount victim. Megumi knows he can't fight anymore, so he pulls out his actual last card, the "If I die, you die with me" ritual. And the target, Mahuraga, the Shikigami no one has ever tamed because, well, it kills everyone. Megumi summons it, instantly gets tweeted, and Shigemo realizes he's stuck in the ritual too. Mahuraga wakes up, looks around, and crushes Shigemo like he's stepping on a bug. But right before the ritual ends, Sukuna swoops in, saves Megumi, and steps in himself. And then we get the craziest fight of Shibuya, Sukuna versus Mahuraga. Sukuna is slicing, punching, throwing popcorn away because it tastes bad, and Mahuraga is just adapting to everything. Slice, adapt, punch, adapt to whole building on your head, adapt. The wheel on his head is basically a cheat code. Things get so wild that the fight destroys half the city. Finally, Sukuna realizes the only way to finish Mahuraga is to one-shot him before he adapts again. So he opens Malvoran's Shrine, a domain so broken it doesn't even use a barrier. It just replaces reality. Within seconds, everything in a massive radius gets sliced into dust. Mahuraga still survives for a moment, but Sukuna ends it with that giant flaming arrow, the same one he used on Jogo. Mahuraga explodes, ritual complete.
You little brat, be sure to savor this feeling forever.
Yuji wakes up right after, sees the destruction his body caused, and completely breaks down, vomits, cries, blames himself, the whole emotional crash. Meanwhile, Nanami is shown barely alive, still walking forward even after everything. The episode Right and Wrong opens with Nanami walking through Shibuya, half burned, half conscious, and fully done with life. He's imagining Malaysia, beaches, perks, basically everything better than fighting curses in tunnels. But he still thinks of Megumi, Maki, Yuji, and keeps moving like a broken NPC who refuses to despawn. Then Mahito appears, of course, inside a photo booth because he can't enter a scene normally, and starts throwing transfigured humans at Nanami just to mess with him. Nanami still slices through all of them while daydreaming about the beach. But right as Yuji arrives, Nanami reaches his limits. He sees Yuji, smiles, and basically tells him it's your turn now before Mahito kills him. And Yuji, he breaks completely. Angry Yuji jumps straight into round 2 with Mahito, and the fight goes insane instantly. Mahito is throwing mutated humans, turning walls into meat traps, shape-shifting every 2 seconds, basically fighting like someone with unlimited hacks. Yuji tanks everything and keeps coming back stronger, remembering Nanami's last words. Meanwhile, there's a twist. Mahito sprayed himself earlier, and the clone runs into Nobara. She's ready to fight, and she actually lands legit hits using her nails and some smart explosions. Mahito is impressed, but we know he's planning something horrible, and that sets up the next episode. The next episode kicks off with Mahito doing his usual, using random civilians to mess with Yuji's head. Yuji's already half dead tired, and Mahito just keeps tossing mutated humans at him like it's a sport. Meanwhile, Nobara is fighting Mahito's double in an alley, not knowing it's a fake. She keeps dodging him like he's instant death, and while the clone acts all confident because he knows she's holding back. But Nobara flips the script. After missing a bunch of nail shots, she drops one, blows it up, lines up the rest, and hairpin. The nails shoot up, trap the double, and she slams resonance into him. It hits Mahito's real body across the station, and Yuji instantly feels it. It's basically Nobara saying, "You are not fighting alone, idiot." Mahito panics, both bodies run, and Yuji and Nobara end up cornering them from opposite sides without realizing it. Yuji spots the danger and yells for her to run, but he's too late. The real Mahito touches her. Everything freezes. Yuji wipes out out the clone in one hit and reaches her. Nobara's already slipping away, thinking back to Fumi, Saori, the rage she hated, the friends she loved, all the little moments that made her her. She looks at Yuji and tells him to let everyone know she actually had a pretty good life. And then Mahito's technique finishes its job. Yuji can only watch as she falls. In the last part of Right and Wrong, Yuji sees Nobara fall and his brain just shuts down. The guy remembers one happy memory, Nobara destroying Gojo's 2.5 lakh yen shirt, and then reality hits him harder than any curse ever could. He's done. He doesn't want to fight, breathe, exist, nothing. Mahito obviously loves this. He beats Yuji non-stop, flexing like, wow, look, I finally broke you. Yuji just takes it. He's empty. Todo enters like a dramatic WWE tag team partner, swaps Yuji out and saves him. He came here with Arata, who uses his pain remover technique to stabilize Yuji and also tells him Nobara might survive. Not guaranteed, just not 0%. Yuji collapses and cries, totally broken, but Todo lifts him back up, literally gives him a pep talk like, brother, stand up, people died fighting, don't insult them by quitting, and somehow it works. Yuji and Todo face Mahito together. Yuji's at 10%, Mahito at 40%, and Todo at 90%, but all of them fighting like it's 120%. Yuji lands a black splash, Todo lands another, they push Mahito back and the fight blows through floors, elevators, basically the whole station. And in the middle of all this, Mekamaru gives his final goodbye to Myra through a message telling her to live her own life and be happy before disappearing forever. The episode ends with Yuji, Todo and Mahito all powering up, one final showdown coming. In the next episode, Yuji and Todo pull up and Mahito's already yelling like it's their final breakup fight. Todo claps, swaps everyone around, and Yuji almost kicks Mahito's head off. So Mahito just rips it off for himself and grows a new snail head. Cute. He then starts spamming transfigured humans, splitting his soul into two bodies, and Todo handles them like minor inconveniences. Mahito gets desperate, so he tries a 0.2 second domain, basically copying Gojo but on easy mode. It works just enough to graze Todo's soul, and Todo instantly chops his own hands off like it's no big deal. Yuji lands a black flash, Mahito powers up, and boom, new final form. He calls it rebirth. Yuji calls it ugly. They crash Mahito's tougher. Yuji's exhausted, but he still pushes for that one last black flash. Mahito tries to counter by softening part of his body, but Divergent Fist raid hit throws him off. Right when Yuji's about to finish it, Todo yells from the crater edge, fakes a clap, and completely baits Mahito. Yuji lands the final black flash and sends him flying out of his monster form. Broken and panicking, Mahito runs. Yuji follows, calm and done with his nonsense. Mahito trips, starts crying, and just when Yuji's about to end him, Suguro Gato casually walks in like, need help buddy, and that's where the episode leaves us. The next episode starts with Kenjaku showing up and asking Chozo if he wants to be saved. Chozo says yes, and Kenjaku's version of saving is absorbing him like a Pokemon card. So yeah, that's Chozo's dad, and maybe Yuji's too. JJK family tree is wild. Meanwhile, Meme is chilling in Malaysia like she's on a vacation while Japan is literally collapsing. She casually tells someone on the phone to sell all their Japanese stocks because she's done with this country. Back to the battlefield, Yuji tries to fight Kenjaku, but Curse Desperate Manipulation is basically a cheat code. 1 second Yuji's falling into a hole, next second the hole never existed, gaslighting but with curses. Mahito tries to backstab Kenjaku finally, but Kenjaku just absorbs him like he's deleting a file. Bye Mahito, no one will miss you. Kenjaku then flexes his big move, Maximum Uzumaki, explaining it like a YouTube tutorial while Yuji just wants Gojo back. The gang arrives, Momo, Maiwa, Mei, Panda, everyone trying to stop him, but Kenjaku swats them away like flies. Then Chozo arrives, fully angry Big Brother mode activated. He calls out Kenjaku's real name, Noritoshi Kamo, the most evil sorcerer in history. The real Nogitoshi is confused, Panda is confused, Yuji is confused, basically everyone is confused except Chozo. Chozo goes all in with blood manipulation, actually pushing Kenjaku back, but Yurame shows up and freezes everyone like they are leftovers. Yuji breaks free just enough to save Chozo, and Chozo immediately tries to make Yuji call him big brother. Yuji is not having it. Yurame almost kills them until Yuki Tsukumo appears out of nowhere, saves them and casually asks Kenjaku, "So what kind of girls are you into?" Perfect cliffhanger energy. The season finale picks up right after everything goes to hell. Gojo's sealed, the heroes are half dead, and Kenjaku just casually says, "Alright, mission accomplished, I'm out." But before leaving, he taps the ground with either transfiguration, and boom, a bunch of hidden sorcerers and old vessels suddenly wake up like they just heard an alarm. Then the higher-ups enter the chat and somehow make things even worse. They reinstate Yuji's execution, fire Gojo from the Jujutsu world, bring back Geto's death sentence, and even decide to kill Principal Yaga. Basically every bad decision possible. Chat. Meanwhile, Kenjaku reveals his real plan: turn Japan into a cursed energy battleground by upgrading regular humans into sorcerers and letting ancient sorcerers reincarnate through their vessels. He wants pure chaos, uncontrollable chaos, because apparently that's his idea of fun. And then Sumiki wakes up with a curse mark. Yeah, that happened. Kenjaku escapes with the prison realm, flexes it right in front of Yuji, and announces that the Heian era, the golden age of curses, is officially back. A few days later, Japan is basically a disaster zone, and the higher-ups decide to tell the world about curses. Their solution? Yeah, the curses only appear in Tokyo. Genius. Finally, Yuka Kotsu returns like a DLC character, saves a girl, destroys a curse, scolds Rika for overdoing it, and goes straight to headquarters. The higher-ups pretend to praise him, and he very politely agrees to kill Yuji himself. The episode ends with 5 announcements: Gojo exiled, Geto sentenced again, Yaga to be executed, Yuji's execution resumed, and Yuta is now his executioner, and Yuji, he's on a bridge waiting for whatever comes next. So yeah, that wraps up everything right up to the Jujutsu Kaisen execution movie. If you want to see how all of this continues, Yuji vs Yuta, Naoya hunting Megumi, and current game setup, you can catch the movie in theaters or wherever it drops next. Alright, I'm ending it here. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share and subscribe. It really helps a lot. Thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you in the next one.